now we are going to start a fresh topic inside the politicization of a state executive authority. Till now I have covered two important aspects regarding the state executive authority, that is governor of the state and chief minister of the state. Today I will start a new topic regarding the state executive authority. Okay, so let's start with today's session. Okay, let's see, understand it. Today I will deal with a state council of ministers. I have taught you about union council of minister at the central level, means union council of ministers, but here is not union council of ministers, here is a state council of ministers. So if you have followed my lectures of that session, you will properly understand it, because this will look so simple only when you will cover union state executive union council of ministers. So you will get a state council of ministers so easily. Okay students, so let's start. Okay, fine. So now see, Article 163 says that councils of ministers to aid and advise governor. Okay, councils of minister to aid and advise governor. Fine. Please relate that. Start the habit of correlating to each other. Okay, so you will more connecting of not even in politicization, but when you will cover the whole subject, you will automatically realize that how connecting each and every subject, connecting each and every topic is going to help you a lot. Okay, so Article 163 mentioned that the aid and advice given by the state council of ministers should be followed by governor, but not all the time like president. Here is little bit difference. Okay, if governor will feel that this is not going right way according to the constitution, so governor may use his discretion power. Okay, his own discretion. Discretion means with your own wish, with your own desire, whatever you want to do, you will do. Okay, that is discretion. So here is little bit difference, that whenever central council of ministers, means union council of ministers, give aid and advice to the president of India, then that aid and advice is binding to the president. President has to accept that aid and advice. But here little bit difference, that whenever chief ministers and a state council of ministers will give aid and advice to the governor of that state, then it is not compulsory that governor will accept the recommendation. Okay, it is possible that governor will use his own discretion. Okay, fine. So let's go inside the topic. Okay, and we will look into the deep inside this topic. Fine. Okay, fine. So now let's see. Okay, I think this is, yeah, this is the 15% margin. Have you got it or not? If not, then listen. By 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003, it became mandatory for Central Council of Ministers, means Union Council of Ministers, to not form more than this is 15%. I have given you example now, that if suppose if let's total 500 MPs in Lok Sabha, then you can't make more than 75 ministers. Okay, the same rule we followed in a state council of ministers too. And what is the legal authority behind that? That is 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003. Regarding this Constitutional Amendment Act, that is 91st Constitutional Amendment Act, 2003, it became mandatory that you can't enlarge the councils of ministers, even union councils of ministers or a state council of minister, that you can't enlarge more than 50%. You can keep maximum to 15%. Okay. So I hope all of you have get it properly. This is the same that I have taught you in union councils of ministers. So this is the easy one. If you have followed that lecture properly, what is the legal authority behind it? That is 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003. Why it was done? Why this amendment act has been done? Because see students, if there are 500 MPs in Lok Sabha, then it is possible that, if not fixed number, then it is possible that 150 member of parliament become ministers, and at that time, since these ministers play the role of executive and the remaining 350 will play the role of legislation, so this will also the part of legislation 150, but they are the part of executive too, but the remaining 350 will not be the part of executive at all. Okay, so at that situation the executive will be getting more and more a strengthening of power over the legislation, and that is not suitable for our democratic nation. The same way, if suppose in legislative assembly, if there are 100 MLAs, okay, if there are 100 MLAs, then you have to make sure that you can't form a state council of minister that will put inside not more than 15%. It means 100 out of 15% is 15. It is just an example, just an assumption to understand you properly. Okay. If there is 40 members of legislative assembly become ministers, then what happened? Then it is possible that these 40 will overcome the remaining 60 legislatives. Okay. So to keep a balance, between executive and legislative, it became mandatory by doing 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003. Okay. So I hope all of you get it. So I am moving to the next slide, students. Okay. Okay, students. Yes, this is the next slide. Fine. So now let's see. See what is written inside it. A member of either house of a state. A member of either house of a state means, I have already told you that few states, which states have two houses, one is legislative assembly and other is legislative councils. All states do not have legislative councils. Okay. Which state have legislative council, it will taken in separate session, that will automatically come. Okay. So some states have both houses. That is why it is mandatory for the constitution to retain for the whole things. That is why it is mentioned that a member of either house of a state legislature, either of a state legislature means both legislative assembly or legislative councils. The state which have only legislative assembly, this will be compulsory, this will be for every state, and for UTs it is only for Delhi and Puducherry. Okay, only their legislative assembly present, otherwise in other Union territories there was no legislative assembly present. Okay, right now the present situation is that what I am telling you. So the states which have only legislative assembly, okay, for them their word either will not be any mean, but for those which have also legislative councils, this line is more important. Okay, so what is said that a member of either house of a state legislature who is disqualified on the ground of defection, I will tell anti-defection law because that is a vast topic. Anti-defection law, anti-defection law, this is an interesting topic too. Okay, but I will take in separate session because it is not necessary to explain it here. Okay, it will consume more and more time and you will eventually not get it at all right now at this moment. Okay, that's why I am not go deep inside it. So if any MLA that becomes a minister, if that minister become disqualified on the basis of anti-defection. Defection. Okay, defection. For defection, the law made that is called anti-defection law. Fine. For defection, if any MLA is doing defection, means quitting the party, okay, by without following procedures, okay, proper procedures, then this anti-defection law will be applicable on those MLAs and ministers, even ministers. Fine. So if any ministers will be disqualified on the basis of defection, then automatically he will be disqualified to be an MLA. What is written here? A member of either house of a state legislature who is disqualified on the ground of defection shall also be disqualified to appoint as a minister, added by 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003. What meant that? See, this is a situation of vice versa situation. Okay, if there is an MLA, okay, if there is an MLA and he has been defected, okay, he has been defected by anti-defection law, then this MLA will not be eligible to become a minister at all, because to being a minister, first of all, just be a MLA. Okay, otherwise you can be a minister, but within 6 months you have to be an MLA. Okay, in the same way, if you are ministers, you are already an MLA too, that is fine. So if this minister is to disqualified on basis of defection, then this MLA will lose their members of legislative assembly too. Fine. So this is situation of vice versa. Are you getting it? Are you getting it or not? And this has also been done earlier. It was not present. Okay. Originally, Constitution does not mention about defections. Okay. But what happened that after 1990s, there are so many situations and problems arise due to it. Okay, many of the MLAs are quitting party, many of the ministers are quitting party. The MLAs who don't get the minister's post in the ruling government, they quit the party and join other party, and that party form the government with their help, and they will eventually get the post of ministership. So this is not a good way, okay, to run a nation of democratic country like India. So that is why this law has been passed, and this kind of situation has been created that you will lose your membership and you will lose your ministership. Then it was from which source it was taken? So 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003. The same Amendment Act also provision, I have told you just another slide, previous slide, in that not margin of cross the margin of 15%. Okay, not cross the margin of 15%. So 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003 is a really important amendment act. Remember this amendment act, because this amendment act, first of all, limit the barrier of 15% that you can't cross that. Second, that it bring the defection. If you are getting disqualified on the basis of defection, you will lose your ministership as well as your members of legislative assembly too. This is also applicable for parliament, okay, and this is also applicable for legislative assembly. So these are the common point. Fine, this is the common point. So I hope this point is clear to all of you. So I am moving to the next slide. So our next slide will be, fine. So our next slide, I hope this is about salary and allowances. Yeah, fine. This is about salary and allowances. See, whatever the salaries an MP get, not I am talking right now an MLA, I will talk it right just after it, but what kind of salaries and allowances an MP get, it will depend upon the law passed by the legislations, that means parliament, at the central level, parliament. But what kind of salaries, how much salaries and allowances which an MLA get, it will not passed by parliament, it will be passed by the state legislative assembly. It will pass by the state legislative assembly. Fine. It will pass by the state legislative assembly, that how much salary an MLA an MLA will get, how much allowances an MLA will get. Okay, this MLA will get how much salaries and how much allowances. This will totally depend upon that particular state legislative assembly. Okay, if suppose UP's state legislative assembly passed a law that 1 lakh salary will get each and every MLA. Okay, so that's not be similar, may it's be similar, but it is not mandatory that all over the states it is the same. It's depend upon each and every respective legislative assembly. Okay, so I hope this is clear to all of you. So can I move to the next slide, students? I hope so. So I am moving to the next slide. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. Yeah, this is about appointment. How to appoint any ministers from councils of minister, inside councils of minister. Suppose here is an MLA and I am just repeating it because the whole things has been already repeated. So all are just repeated ones. So you can get easily revised all the things. Okay. So if there is an MLA of the party which is ruling the government, party A is ruling the government of any state. Okay, fine. Here is an MLA of that party, of party A. If the CM, the chief minister of this party, of this ruling government, wish that this MLA should be bring inside the state council of minister, ESCOM. Okay. So what he will do that? Now keep your knowledge away. Okay, because I have repeated it so many times that if you will not get right now, then it will be very difficult for you. Okay. So what CM will do that? He will ask the governor. He will ask the governor that it is my wish that this MLA should be taken away in the state council of ministers. Fine. So it will be done by on the advice of chief minister, but finally it will be the final procedure will be done by governor. So governor will be appoint that MLA as a ministers, and whenever he become ministers, automatically he become council of ministers. Okay, see, cabinet ministers in a state is little bit different. Okay, it's like there is nothing like a state level that here like PM and here like cabinet ministers and here like other minister of a state of independent charge, other minister of independent that is not independent charge. Okay, minister of a state, and after that deputy minister. But here in a state it is only chief minister and it is only cabinet ministers, not other than that. So this is the difference little bit. I hope you will easily get it. So can I move to the next slide, students? I hope that you are getting the point that appointment is done by whom? Appointment is done by governor. Fine. Appointment is done by governor. Fine. Are you getting it? So now move to the next slide. That is our oath and salary of ministers. About salaries of ministers I have already told you. So this is the repeated one. So oath will be taken in presence of whom? Home students, in presence of governor. Just like at the central level authority, what happened that in central authority that is India, president appoints ministers, and ministers will take the oath in presence of president. Okay, president will read the oath paper, and at the same time that MLA, that MP who is becoming minister will also read the same oath. Okay, repeat the lines that has been told by president. So that is the process also followed at the state level. Fine. That oath will be taken by the ministers by the ministers in the presence of governor. Governor will read the whole things, and the same line will be repeated by the candidate who is going to become the minister. Okay, so I hope this point is clear to all of you. Oath. Salary of ministers. I had already told you that salary of minister depends upon the legislations, the laws passed by the state legislative assembly. So it may possible that it is different salaries across the India in each and every state. It may possible that even somewhere it is equal, but it is a coincidence. Okay, it is upon the states that what kind of allowances and how much salaries, okay, and MLAs will get. Fine. Even the salary of MLC too, will be decided by a state legislative assembly. Okay, law should be passed for that. If there will be any increment in the salary or allowances, that law will be passed by whom? That law will be passed by the home students. Tell me. A state legislative assembly. Now, responsibility of ministers. In the session of union councils of ministers, I have told you that there are two kinds of responsibility, that is collective and another one is individual. Okay, collective and individual. I don't think I have to repeat it again. Collective means what you have to do is, if any situation arises when government is collapsing, government has no confidence in the House of Legislative Assembly or no confidence motion brought by opposition parties, and government failed to prove the majority, then the full collective councils of ministers will be finished, will be dissolved. Okay, so all the ministers have to resign from their post, even chief minister too. One thing is that if chief minister will resign from the office, then the whole council of ministers of the state level will automatically be suspended. Okay. Now, individual means, if I have already told you, so I am just repeating it again. If there are 5 persons, 5 ministers inside the council of ministers at the state level, and nucleus power is CM. So if CM wants that candidate number 2, the minister number 2 should be removed from the council of ministers, so what he will do, that he will ask the governor that please remove the office of this minister from his post. So governor will remove this person from the council of ministers. Okay, so this minister will further a no more minister. Okay, this will be an MLA. As an MLA he will continue definitely, because he is not defected at all. So as an MLA he will continue, but now he is not anymore a minister. Okay, so that is why you can be put outside the council of minister individually too. You can come inside the council of minister individually too. But if chief minister resigns or the government fail to prove the majority, then the sense of collectiveness will be shown, and the full cabinet minister, the full council of minister will have to resign, even the chief minister. I hope all of you get it properly. All of you have get it or not? Because these are the repeated ones. I am just repeating the whole things. Okay, I have told in the explanation of during the classes of Union Executive Authority. Okay, Union Executive Councils. Okay, Union Councils of Ministers. So I hope these all points are clear to all of you. If not, then please contact us. Okay, we will try to resolve all your issues. Fine. So now we will move to the next slide. If anything is remaining, we will try to resolve all the issues. Okay. See, once you have completed the Union Executive Councils, how this topic is looking easy. Okay, but if you have not completed, I will start with a state level, then you will be really confused at the central level, because central level authority is a much larger aspect than a state level authority. So when you will understand the larger things, the smaller things that come inside that larger things, okay, you will automatically trying to evaluate them. Okay, you can yourself evaluate them, starting to evaluate all the things. Okay, even I will not clarify this. I hope that my students will be able to clarify all this. Okay, please develop something special inside you. Only something special will keep a good kind of confidence in the upcoming times, because I am going to complete the whole and full syllabus in not taking more times, in just 4 to 5 months. Fine. So let's took the next slide. Okay, this is composition. Composition of what? Composition of councils of ministers. Okay, so I have already told you that it should not be more than 15% margin. 15% margin from the strength of the House of Legislative Assembly. You can't cross that border, but understand that if you cross the border, then what happen? If you cross the border, suppose if a 15% margin have been crossed by the border, then CM will be removed from his office. No, a notice will be given to Chief Minister of that state, and a time frame of 6 months will be given to correct the whole things. If the margin of 15% will be crossed in any state, then in that situation a notice will be sent to the Chief Minister of that state, and a 6-month time period will be given to Chief Minister to correct the whole things within 6 months. Further 6 months action will be taken. Okay, but this kind of problem not happen till now, that within 6 months the issue has been not resolved. This kind of situation has not happened till now after 2003, because this amendment, which amendment this is done? Remember it, this is done by 91st Constitutional Amendment Act 2003, this margin era. Okay, this also talked about defection. Have you got it? So see how the whole things is related to each other. No, am I right? Okay, so how the whole things are related to each other? Even composition, whenever you come about the slide of composition, you already know about what I am going to teach you. Okay, you are memorizing yourself, you are analyzing yourself. Just right now sir is going to teach about 15% margin. Okay, but this is a new thing which I have never told you, that not CM will be not be removed. Instead of removing them, a 6 months time frame will be given to Chief Minister of that state. So in that 6 months the whole thing should be corrected. Okay, fine. So I hope this is clear to all of you. So can I move to ahead if any slide remaining? I hope the full slide has been covered, but if any slide remaining, I will cover really. Okay. So now, yes, the questions of Chief Minister of the last session. Okay, so I will cover the sessions of question answers. Fine. Yesterday I have taken the class of Chief Ministers. That is the second part of which? Second part of a state executive authority. Under a state executive authority, there are 3 persons: Governor, Chief Ministers, and a state councils of ministers. Today I have completed the third part 2. So I will go ahead now with the previous session questions answers. Okay, so move to the next slide, and that will bring the first of the questions. Okay, fine. So here is the first question that tells that mark the correct statements. Fine, mark the correct statements. The first statement is that the chief minister may be a member of any of the two houses of a state legislature. It is true. Is it true or not? The CM may be a member of any of the two houses. If any state have only one house, that is legislative assembly, then CM has to be a member of that house at anyhow. But if any state has both house, like legislative assembly as well as legislative council, then either CM should be a member of either this house or this house. It doesn't matter to become a chief minister. Okay, it doesn't matter. So the chief minister may be a member of any of the two houses of a state legislature. Yes, it is true. It doesn't matter that either chief minister is from which house, either this house or this house. Okay, but in most of the Indian states, only legislative assembly present, not legislative councils. Only few states this one is present. So in that case, there is no option for chief minister. Okay, so he have to be a member of legislative assembly. He has to win the election at any cost. Fine. So I hope this question is clear to all of you, and the remaining 4 questions I will definitely solve right now so that you can enjoy this question answer session. Okay, fine. So this is about question. The office for deputy CM has, see, the office for deputy CM has been created by, this is a new one, na? Okay, so it is created by Indian constitution, parliamentary legislation, or state specific legislation, or none of these. What? See, in UP there are 2, right? I think there are 2 deputy chief ministers. In Bihar there are also 2 deputy chief ministers. Earlier there was 1 chief minister in Bihar, and before that there was no deputy chief minister in UP. Okay, so it is not mandatory, it is not any law, it is not any legislation. It is a political motivated. Okay, it is a political motivated thing that make a deputy chief minister, and not only political but also decentralize the power. That if such a large state then CM will have really difficult task to travel all over the states and manage the whole things. So CM will appoint deputy CM 1, 2, 3 according to his need, so that the power is being decentralized and the working will be going proper way. Okay, so is it any law? No, nowhere mentioned in Indian constitution. It is not a parliamentary legislation too. It is not any state legislation too. So it is none. It is in political innovation. Okay, it is in political innovation somehow. So I hope this is resolved by me. So I am moving to the 3rd question, and the 3rd question, that is, I hope our 3rd question is appearing. Yes, the size of a state council of ministers and the ranking of ministers is specified and determined by. How much size? That 15%, that is okay, that is the, but less than 50%, less than 15%, who is going to decide that in councils of ministers how many ministers will present in it? Less than 15%, less than 15% is a law, but how much less than 50%, how many ministers will cover under councils of ministers? So who will decide, and who will decide the rank of the ministers? There is the rank of minister too, like cabinet ministers and other ministers. So is it Indian constitution that mentions that you should have to keep only this number of members? No, it is only that 15% maximum. No, it is not by Indian constitution. Chief minister, it is chief minister. It is only upon chief minister. Okay, no, governor is not. Governor's role is only to appoint these ministers. Okay, laws enacted by the state legislative assembly, not at all. Okay, so the correct answer is chief minister. I hope this is clear to all of you. So I am moving to the next slide. Okay, the next question. Okay, fine. That is, the CM will submit his resignation to whom? If the CM has to resign from his office, then whom he will submit his resignation? Is it deputy CM like president, President of India, if he wants to resign or she wants to resign, then he will submit his resignation to Vice President. And same is vice versa. If Vice President has to submit his resignation, then he will submit his resignation to President. So not like that. Okay, here is different situation. Fine. The CM will submit his resignation to Deputy CM, not at all. Prime Minister, is it Prime Minister? Not. Is not Prime Minister. Is it Governor? Is it Governor? Yes, it is Governor. It is the Governor from which authority you have to submit your resignation. You can eventually see these topics in news because these oftenly happen in our nation. Okay. Whenever any government pulls down, then he submit his resignation to what? To the Governor. So I hope this is clear to all of you, and I should move to the next question. That is question number 5. If the size of, listen carefully, if the size of councils of ministers will be cross the margin of 15%, then the same question has come, what I have taught you right now. So Governor will dismiss CM from the post, is it? Is the Governor going to dismiss CM from the post or not? No, I am just talked about it. President rule will be applied. Some of me confused in it that yes, it may possible that President rule be applied. No, President rule be applied only when law's situation has been totally destroyed in that state and Governor has submitted a report of that state to the President that look, the situation is really dangerous, uncontrollable in the state, so please invoke President rule in the state. Then President can invoke President rule only. This is only way, otherwise no. So this is also wrong, this is also wrong, both A and B will also be wrong. So D is the correct, because here is written that 6 months time will be given to CM to correct it. I have told you earlier, okay, the same question is printed here, that just repeating it again, if the size of councils of ministers at a state level will be crossed of 15% margin, then Chief Minister will get a notice and Chief Minister will get a time period of 6 months to rectify the whole things, okay, to diminish the quantity of ministers in councils of ministers less than 15%. You can't exceed 15%. You can keep 15%. You can keep. Whenever any question that size of councils of ministers, now take. Okay, I am asking a question. Okay, just answer yes or no. Our statement given is that the size of councils of ministers will always be less than 15% of total strength of the house. The size of the councils of ministers will always be less than the total strength of the house, the total strength of the legislative assembly. Is it true or not? Tell me. Is it true or not that the size of the councils of ministers, okay, will always be less than 15% of margin from the total strength of the legislative assembly? Is it right or wrong? Tell me, just think. What I have told you, is it right or wrong? Is it wrong or is it right? It is wrong. I am telling you that less than 15%. Less than 15%. It may be possible that even it is equivalent to 15%. Okay, so be careful about these kind of questions. Even if you know the whole things, you may do some kind of silly mistakes that will cost you for extra 1 year. Okay, so 15% you can keep that. Suppose 100 ml is present, the total strength of the any particular state of legislative assembly is 100 ml. So I am not talking about the ruling government. Suppose 100 is the total strength, so majority rule is 51. So if anyone has 60, got 60, then he will form the government. So 15% of 60 not, 15% of total strength of the house. Okay, either these 40 are from opposition parties, you will not make ministers from those, you will make ministers only from those. Okay, if you want, then make ministers, but that can't be happen. Okay, that can't be happen, that nobody is going to do in our nation. Okay, so 15% of total strength, not from the ruling government party strength. Okay, so I have told you, you can keep equivalent to 15%. So 15% of 100 is 15. So what a question I have asked you, that the size of councils of ministers will always be less than 15%. So less than 15% will be 14, 13, something to 1. Okay, will always be less than 15% of the total strength of the legislative assembly. Is it true or not? Many of you are thinking. Okay, so is it wrong or right? It is wrong. Okay, so please keep on the attention of the question, what is the question asking and what are the statements. Look the keywords carefully. So according to the rule, this statement is wrong. Okay, you can keep 15. Okay, above 15 the rule will be violated. Okay, and your chief minister will get the notice of how much? 6 months. Fine. So no other question is remaining right now. So this session has been over to all of you, and again I am announcing that from 24th of June, those aspirants who are going to attempt this year UPSC examination, we are organizing a PT test series from 24th of June. Okay, so if you are not attempting this year, even you should try to develop a question practice. You can attempt that, those all are free of cost. We are provide so many test series that you will get so habitual about that when you sit in the examination hall, you will feel really comfortable. If you are studied, if you will not study, then nobody is going to feel comfortable. Okay, so this session is over. Tomorrow we will meet with a new topic, with a new fresh topic. Okay, because the parts of the, I think almost 20% of the polity session has been over. Okay, so we will start from a new topic with tomorrow. Thank you, students.